what else is new, good sir?
Well, I've got a few things, as always, that I've come across this week. If you want to share my screen, I can start off with those.
Yes, I can, and I shall, and I
Perfect.
did.
Well, thank you. First one here, a short and sweet but very useful blog post from Damien is just how you can create a dynamic Entra ID group for Windows 11 devices. Couple of examples here where he shows you how you can look at Windows 10 devices, Windows 11 devices, or even specific build feature updates based on, of course, the build number of Windows that you're working with. Again, short and sweet blog post, but very useful reference here if you want to build out these Entra ID groups for reporting or assignments or anything like that. It can be very useful. I also have a couple of posts that I came across that are sort of on the fringes of what we do. Not necessarily systems management related, but I did see Microsoft announced a What's New in Microsoft EDU webinar coming up here in a couple of weeks. So I will be sure to hop on that. There are a few things in there that were interesting, of particular interest to the systems management groups here was Microsoft 365 apps updates. I'm not sure what that agenda item means, but I was trying to look for things that we're more likely to be working with.
Yeah, I have not a fighting chance on reading that text.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can make it larger. And just for you, I even have Zoom in.
Turning 52 this year, so
I need to get used to Zoom it a little bit more then.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I wanted to share this for any of the EDU folks out there. It looks like a possibly interesting agenda there. I also came across this interesting, maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not, announcement Tuesday evening. Exchange Online is going to, or Microsoft is going to release limits in Exchange Online for how many outbound emails you can send. What that means is an email that you're sending from your tenant out to another tenant, out to Gmail, out to another organization, or something along those lines.
So external recipients, basically. Yeah,
Exactly. And I think there's some nuance to that. There are some ways that you can set accepted domains and things like that. So I wouldn't recommend freaking out too much about this yet. My initial reaction when I saw this was words that I cannot repeat on our family-friendly live stream here. But as I actually started to read the details, I said, all right, let's figure out what's going on first and how we'll be affected. But I did want to make sure that I mentioned this because this looks like this could be an impactful change for many organizations. So you can see here, depending on how many email licenses you have purchased in your organization, that's really what defines the rate limit that gets set on your tenant.
So these are daily emails, 24 hours, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you're sending more than 10,000 emails a day per person, you're probably sending out stuff you shouldn't. So hopefully that will mean less spam in our inboxes, because obviously this is being created from organizations where you spin up a tenant or individuals spinning up a tenant. They just blast people with emails and then a new tenant and blast again. And yeah, hopefully it will means less junk.
Yeah, exactly. I hope so as well. Two important bits of information that I wanted to point out about this is that it's supposed to start rolling out at the end of March 31st. But I have not seen this pop up in any of the tenants that I am a part of. But here in late February, which is we have 48 hours left of the month. There's going to be a report showing up in the Exchange Admin Center reports mail flow section that's going to show you how these new limits may or may not affect your organization. So I wanted to throw that out there as well.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. And then this was another interesting tidbit. We haven't had any drama with the Microsoft Graph SDK here for several months. And so this week we got some. Version 2.26 was released of this PowerShell module.
2.26.0 should be mentioned.
Yes, because 2.26.1 was released today. But I've still seen the recommendation of don't go updating to any of the 2.26 versions just yet. So essentially a couple of things here. I think this was, Tony Redmond, fantastic follow, by the way, in the M365 Microsoft Graph space. Tony puts out some fantastic information. But basically, 2.26 dropped .NET 6 and .NET 7 support without any warning, seemingly. Azure Automation runbooks began to fail. And then I know there were some issues with, the Graph authentication module. I thought I came across one. I'm not going to say that out loud because maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, there are some issues with this module. So the recommendation still today, even with 2.261 coming out, is stick with 2.25 for the moment. This looked like a pretty annoying one for now.
Yeah, why test new releases?
Yeah, great point. Last but not least, and then I will turn it over to you, Johan, is just a quick demo here. And this actually, I noticed we had a question here in the chat. Do you know of a way to speed up application deployment for Mac OS via Intune? Interestingly, Jesse, I don't know if this will totally answer your question, but Ugur Cook has been working on a community tool called IntuneBrew for a while. I think we've mentioned.
We have definitely mentioned it, and I just lost your audio. Andrew, your audio cut out there. I'm not sure if it's just for me or... That was always interesting. Try again.
What do I have, the 4:41 Wednesday scheduled task to ruin my restring connection?
There is probably like a factory close to you where they just power down the equipment for the day, and it's a true story. I worked for 20 years ago, 25.
Yeah.
It was a lawyer firm where the Novell server went down every Monday morning. And it was because a factory close by started up their machinery, and that caused so much power fluctuation. So their Novell server took a nosedive.
It's interesting because every time this has happened, I mean, you've said I drop out basically, but on my side, it's 1 second that there's an issue, and then I hear you talking immediately. It's very strange. More troubleshooting in my future.
Yes. Anyhow, back to IntuneBrew, because that's where we left off. See if I can find your screen again.
Yes, please. Thank you.
What can possibly go wrong in a live stream?
Oh, yeah, nothing. Let alone a live demo that I'm about to show. So if you're using Azure Automation, this new version of IntuneBrew is now fully automated. You can actually set the script up in Azure Automation and schedule a runbook to run on a schedule and update your applications in Intune, which is awesome. So basically what IntuneBrew does, if you have not used it, is if we go over to the GitHub repository for it, Uber has a few PowerShell scripts. So there's the standard IntuneBrew PowerShell script, and then there's a runbook. And you specify the applications that are available in IntuneBrew that you want to be created up in Intune, the Mac OS applications specifically. And you can see here in the apps directory that he has a bunch of JSON config files that point to the various download links for specific applications. So one of the macOS applications that I have in Intune from IntuneBrew is Firefox. So if we go look at the JSON file for Firefox here, you can see that it shows the latest version. It shows the download link and some other information about it here. This is as simple as, if we go look over in my Intune Admin Center, I have Firefox and Spotify that actually have not been updated for a while. Using this tool is essentially as simple as downloading the script. So you can see here I'm in the GitHub repository that I've downloaded locally. And running the script like so. Once you run the script, you have a number of authentication methods you can choose. Obviously, if you're going to be using the Azure Runbook, you're going to want one of the non-interactive methods, whether that's app registration with a certificate or a secret. In our case, we're going to go ahead and log in interactively. And it's going to load in this browser. And then you can see we're presented with a list of applications that are available with IntuneBrew. So if I type in Mozilla Firefox here, making sure there's an underscore, and Spotify, it's going to see which version I have available in Intune. You can see 132.0.2 for Firefox and 1249439 for Spotify. And it shows, yes, absolutely, we have newer versions available. Finds those applications. We want to continue and get those updated. And the script here just goes through, downloads the content, and then uploads it to Azure Storage, and then is going to create the application in Intune as well. And in just a few moments here, we'll see that application be updated. But this is a fantastic community tool if you are managing macOS devices in your environment. Really is as simple as what I've showed here to update those applications, and then you can go into the admin. You have your macOS devices in. Let's see if that goes a little bit. Almost done there. I just want to confirm that this actually worked live.
Yeah.
I happen to know it works, but it's another thing to actually see it happen. There, it even adds the app logo for you, which is really cool. So let's go over here, see if we've got our application available. We do. And if we look at the properties, we can see the logos there, the information URL, minimum operating systems configured, a whole bunch of information. And we can go ahead and assign this application. Very, very cool stuff. And that was what I had for today.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a few things. Let's see where my screen went. There we go. Most importantly, up on our academy, we are having a raffle for a MMS 2025 ticket.
That's a pretty shiny ticket.
It's an $1,800 ticket. But for the next 7 days, you can enter to win a ticket. There will be one winner only. And please only request or enter the contest or the raffle if you have a chance to actually go to Minneapolis in May this year, because this is admission only. We don't cover flights or hotels or anything like that. But so if you're able to make it to Minneapolis in May, May 4th through 8th, by all means, this is a good chance to win a ticket.